First story. Best friend's boyfriend gave me a drawing he made of me and my R cyst. Best friend lost her. She claimed they had SX40 times ST shamed me and told that guy that I smell bad. Have two STI and a baby daddy currently in jail for Mr. Durr, then threatened to baby trap him, so he dumped her and said he had a crush on me. Now my best friend demands to have a threesome as an apology and fresh start, and has now started stalking and harassing me. So I am 24F and she's 24 as well, for some context. She is white. Andy am mixed. Japan is a Brazilian. There is this guy we both know through a mutual friend. We met him at the end of summer. I think she is at his place a lot and told us they are dating. But when he was asked, he said she's just a friend. I will be honest. HEK, a confident guy, but when we first met, he was always awkward. When we interacted, I presumed he didn't like me, so I was surprised when he got me a birthday gift last month. After that, we started hanging out more and actually became good friends. I like collecting rocks as a hobby since childhood, and he is curious about it a few times. We would meet up, and he even gave me rocks he thought I would like. It was very thoughtful and sweet. My friend F started asking me about him and always made shady comments. For example, she would imply that I am not his type, that he's not interested in me, etc. They were very snarky remarks, but very low key and subtle. One time he said that my eyes are stunning, and she started laughing hysterically and called him a sleazy liar. At this point, I was still under the illusion that she was a friend, so I thought she was just messing around and being funny. A few days ago, he surprised me with a drawing he made of me, which was, of course, very sweet. It looked great and was one of the nicest things I've ever received. She started acting very weird once she found out, like she would give me weird looks and even humiliated him. She talked about him behind his back and called him pathetic. At one point, we had this text exchange and she basically revealed her true self. I'm shocked, but at the same time, not shocked. Am I overreacting with my responses? Don't get me wrong, I know she's terrible, but I Amo, my replies were vicious, and I know she's probably still crying. Snot and tears as we speak. Text transcription XF. Hey, sis. I say this with good intentions, see you. I don't want to see you get hurt, but guy friend isn't into you like that, so it's best you just forget about him and move on. Like, I really care about you, so I don't want to see you get into SAT. Like, you deserve so much op LOL. What the F? I am not even into him? What the F are you waffling on about? I am laughing XF. I can see ER trying to be close with him, and it's embarrassing because I feel bad for LER, not his type. And that's okay, girl. Op Fao, who's trying to get close. Are you drunk? Is this about the drawing he made of Mill XF? That drawing means nothing. He does things because he feels bad for you. You just don't see it, Op. We're good friends, and he's obviously a sweet guy. What exactly did I do wrong, though? I am, Trina. Understand why are you so pressed? XF, listen. You guys aren't that close, and he's obviously not interested in you. You know, how many times I've been to his place. We've been effing since like October. Y'all never even hugged. He's awkward around you because he doesn't find you attractive. Also, no offense, but he's only into tall white girls. Have you seen his exes? They are literally tent and model types. So I am more of his type, not some ghetto Barbie hood. Rat men like him want to take home a classy lady, not some adultery star. Op. LOL ghetto. Barbie hood rat sounds hot, actually, Andy. Unconfused, because why are you calling me an adultery star? Isn't that a good thing? Alal. It's funny how you showed your true R says self just because you feel threatened. XF, I am not wrist at all. I am just telling you the truth and protecting your heart. Everything he does is calculated, and he's only use you because so easy heart. He feels bad for you. Because he probably thinks her autistic law. You collect rocks while I play with his balls, who is winning B. We are not the same. He's basically sweet to you because do autistic things like that, it's not genuine. Api, why would you make fun of someone for having a hobby? Lem OU, what are your hobbies? What do you do when you're not sleeping with him? To get commitment, you've been flinging in your weary at him since October in hopes of getting scraps of commitment. I'm tired, boss M. Your vagina. And then you have the audacity to be mad at me for something I didn't even do? WTF, and I don't even like him like that. As I said, why are you bringing this petty ST to me and not him? You're sick, XF. We had his ex over 40 times. He actually likes me, but I can't say the same for you, TBH. What have you guys done together? LOL. Nothing. And the fact he made that ugly drawing means nothing. Like I said, he feels bad for you because you're giving autism every time he texts you. There's a high chance he balls deep in me. Mind your business. Be up what you. Actually, not normal. Get help. I beg you, XF. He wants white babies. Not some Jack Latina Mutsop L. Remember the other day when you were crying about having lines on your forehead? You have them because you're R-cyst white. TRSH, so your evil spirit shines through LOL. It's time for a new round of Botox and fillers, sis. Your age is starting to show at the ripe age of 24. Elow get fed. You are a cis psycho. Oh, wait. You already have been by him. And it's still not enough for a relationship? Oh, my XF. Wow, I can't believe you actually said that. This friendship is dead. You are a cruel, sick, and demented. Be never text or talk to me again. You were given up for adoption because your biop parents could see you would grow up to be an evil home, wrecking cell TW back the F. Off my man and mind your ghetto business. Smelly ugly W-op. Go to sleep, you illiterate Nazi update in comments. One day later, she didn't show him the text, but told him we had a fight. She told him so many lies about me. Chat, she told him, I have STI. I don't, that I had 2 abortions in the past. I've never had an abortion in my life. And that my vagina smells bad. My smells heavenly. Thanks. She says she knows it smells bad because we fell asleep on the same bed once, and she claims she couldn't sleep the whole night due to the smell. LOL. Oh, and she claims I have a baby daddy who is in jail for murder. ELO. He reached out to me to ask WTF is going on, and I showed him the text BDT below. She claimed that she was very nice, considerate, and that I had a total meltdown. She said that she was mostly joking anyway, and that I overreacted. She completely manipulated the situation to make herself look like a saint. She also cried a lot and told everyone in the group chat that I broke her heart and made her cry. She posted a crying selfie, so of course everyone's initial reaction was WTF. What did you do to her when I showed him the text? He called me and asked me if I'm okay and apologized I had to go BC. I was heading off for some training, and he said he wanted to talk about it when we have time. If you want lessons in tarnishing someone's image, y'all should take inspiration from her. I've never had someone go to such great lengths to make me look so bad. Update some more context in another comment posted just after a previous update story time. She and I went to a themed party some months ago. This is before he entered the picture. BTW, I was Chell El Dorado, and she was Natalie Portman's character from Black Swan. Throughout the whole night, she kept joking that my costume was so SLTTY and doing too much, you know, when someone is being passive aggressive but trying to laugh it off. She was basically doing that once again. If you know her personality, I didn't think she genuinely meant it though, but looking back, she was clearly pressed. And I think it's funny how a costume is considered classy or SLTTY based on a woman's body type. If she wore the same exact outfit, she would consider it classy and elegant. God forbid a woman has T and suddenly everything is bad and SLTTYY. Anyway, we had a fight later that night because she wanted to go home with a guy, but she wasn't comfortable doing that. Unless I went out with his friend, she was guilt tripping me and accusing me of SLT. Shaming I ditched her at the party because she kept coercing me into going on some weird for some double date that I didn't sign up for. She got so pissed I ditched her simply because I wasn't comfortable, and we had a fight that night. But eventually we made up, and I actually got over the whole situation. She spun the entire story to tell our mutual guy friend that I ditched her at a party and that I have a history of being a terrible friend update, guys. She lied about the 440. Later in the day, after previous updates, I was going to comment on this on my post, but it got locked. I spoke to my guy friend, and he said that they definitely didn't hook up as many as 40 times. He says he stopped sleeping with her because she got baby crazy and kept joking about baby trapping him, and he told me that she freaked out over an incident that happened between them, which happened the same week as the drawing, so she was already on edge. He absolutely refuses to tell me what went down, so I don't know. Oh, and he asked me if he am turned off by guys who sleep with lots of girls, and I honestly had to tell him Yes, he spent 20 minutes explaining that he's a reformed manho and looking to settle down. I told him that he shouldn't care what I think and to live life how he likes. I asked him if he has a crush on me and he said yes. Was it obvious update? My ex friend apologized to me and suggested we should do a threesome to make peace 3 days after the previous update. I honestly don't know how I ever befriended this girl. She also knocked on my door in the middle of the night to say, sorry, WTF, I am scared of what this crazy bee might do. Help update crazy ex friend is starting to show stalker tendencies. Is there anything I can do, or do I just have to wait it out 3 days? After the previous update, I've already posted about this situation on the AO subreddit, where I received plenty of support. However, since then, her behavior took a weird turn. But I feel like legally my hands are tied. I am hesitant to give away my location at the moment, but I guess I would just like general advice since I've never dealt with something like this before. So, fares shown up uninvited to my place, and an event I attended constantly reaching out to me through a new number after I block her so far. She has texted and called me from 3 different numbers. She's contacted a family member of mine inquiring about my whereabouts and claiming that she's concerned for my mental health and safety. But the worst thing she did so far was book the same flight as my solo trip. As at the end of this month, in a nutshell, I planned a solo trip and I had told her about it before we fell out quite recently. She sent me a picture of her flight details and she booked the exact same trip flight. I think this is unhinged behavior and demonstrates what he am dealing with. RN update 3 days after the previous update, 10 days after the first post. I already posted about this girl a few times. It all started when she got upset that a guy her FWB showed interest in me. She sent me a bunch of wrist hurtful texts making fun of me and my hobbies and everything we fell out. Of course, but then a few days later, she drunkenly tried to climb into my place through the window to apologize. I booked her an Uber from her phone that night. And the next day, she turned up at an event I went to. She's literally following my every move. And when I went to the local authorities, they basically said they can't do much RNAM going on a solo trip soon. And she seriously effing booked the same flight and dates as me. She even booked a hotel that's close to mine. She knew about this trip before we fell out, which is how she knows all the details. So basically, I'm going to have this deranged lunatic following me across the globe for God knows what reason. Text transcription XF. Please don't take this the wrong way. Bestie, I told you already. Fatty, I'm sorry for everything that went down. I was very emotional during that time, and it was wrong of me to spread negative energy and vibes like that. I am so sorry that your feelings were hurt, and I said things you should never say to a friend. I am sorry for calling you a ghetto adultery star. Barbie and autistic. I think going to censor together can be the start of our healing journey together. I really want to make this work. I couldn't get the seat next to you, beauty. I'm behind you. At least it's going to be so much fun if you just relax and focus on the positives. That's one of the things that are wrong about you. You always focus on the negatives. This could be a fresh start to our friendship. I am not willing to throw away 3 years of knowing. You please, bestie. You know, you mean so much to me. It's going to be so fun. Just don't. F. Anybody without telling me. Bestie girl code. I booked a hotel close to yours. Love you, sis. This was going to be a surprise, but I wanted to let you know so that we can hang out day one. Like, I don't want to waste any time. This is going to be the best healing journey ever. Love you, SM sis relevant. SM comments op in response to how she knew what to book because I decided to book them before Xmas, and I said that she could join me if she'd like. We were still friends at the time. As friends do, I excitedly texted her my flight details and hotel, and she was considering booking it as well, but later said she had to help a friend move that week. I would have never thought she would do this though, because who does this? And what's her plan exactly when she gets there? More comments op, guys. I think she might have seen this post because suddenly she texted me that she was joking. And if I seriously thought she would go that far, Condra Thundorn, what the actual F she is. Unhaged to the next level. What are you planning to do? Opie still going, but I may or may not have changed some details. Second story delusional boyfriend did a self harm prank on an already depressed op to show ops. Depression was fake because only veterans have it. Then laughed at op's face while she was having a panic attack. Well, it didn't end. Well, I am still a bit shaken up, so if this doesn't make much sense, I apologize. TWW for self harm. I 18F have been with my boyfriend 20M for almost 2 years. I moved in with him last August, and things have been pretty rocky my whole life. I've struggled with my mental health, specifically depression, anxiety, and self harm. I've been clean for a while, though I also have a history of trauma, but I don't need to get into that. I made sure my boyfriend knew this when we started dating because I wanted him to be able to nope out of the relationship. If that was too much for him to deal with, he assured me it wasn't an issue he never seemed to really get. The whole mental health thing, though he would make comments saying stuff like, depression is just spicy sad, and people with trauma should just get over it. He also thinks that only veterans can get PTSD. I've tried explaining things to him, but he just brushes me off, so I do the best I can to ignore him recently. He started watching a couple of prank channels on YouTube, and he started pranking me. At first, it was just small things like putting way too much flavor in my water or salt in a bite of my food. I laughed it off. It didn't really bother me, but then he started jumping out and scaring me. That kind of stuff really affects me sometimes because of my PTSD, and I tried to explain that to him. He would apologize, but do it again the next day. I was getting annoyed and frustrated, but I tried to let it be. Things escalated last week when he put some noisemakers under the toilet seat in the middle of the night. I woke up to go to the bathroom and sat down. Boom! It being late at night, me being half awake, and the loud noise all mixed together gave me a full blown panic attack. I was on the bathroom floor, crying and having flashbacks after I don't know how long I stopped crying and was just staring into space having flashbacks. He came in because I guess he noticed I was gone for a while when he saw me sitting on the floor. He remembered his little prank and started laughing. I just stared at him for a second, got up, and called him an ARS. I slept in the living room the rest of the night. The next day, I sat him down and I told him he cannot keep scaring me like this. No more jumping out at me, no more. Loud noises. He pretty much sighed and rolled his eyes, but he said he would stop. Everything was fine for a week. I thought this whole prank thing was finally over yesterday. I got home from being out with a friend, actually feeling better for the first time in a while. When I walked in the house, all the lights were off, so I assumed he was still at work, which isn't abnormal because sometimes he works late. I plugged my phone in because it died on my way back home, and when it powered on, I got a notification that he sent me a text. It just read, "So sorry, I love you," I replied, saying, "It's okay. I will see you when you get home. Love you." And I heard his phone ding in the bathroom. That was weird. I thought I got up to go get his phone, and when I got into the bathroom, I saw him lying in the bathtub. The bath was full of water. There was an empty bottle of PLS on the sink, and he was covered in BLOD. His wrists were caught, and there was just so much BL odd, my heart just sank. I started having a panic attack. I was hyperventilating, crying, and I was just frozen. After a minute, I ran to the living room to get my phone to call 90011, and I heard splashing and then laughter. I turned around to see him standing in the hallway, just laughing. He said he got me, and I should have seen the look on my face. I don't even know how to describe the feelings I was experiencing. I was so mad and sad and scared. I didn't even say anything. I just walked out of the house. I just kept walking, and eventually I figured I needed to call my friend to come get me. At first, I didn't tell her what happened. I just told her I needed her to come get me. It was an emergency. She came and took me back to her house where I am at now. My boyfriend keeps calling me, and he sent me some text. He sent me saying he was sorry and it was just a joke. And I am overreacting, and I need to come home. I am not answering. I don't even know what I would say to him. My friend is going over to his house tomorrow to get my things when he's at work. She said, I can stay with her however long I need. I don't know what I'm going to do. I just feel numb. Update posting this to my profile because Mods of True of Miss deleted it for some reason. Thankfully, today wasn't as eventful as I was expecting it to be. I ended up sending my now ex-boyfriend a text saying that he crossed a line and I don't want to hear from him again. I blocked him on everything after sending that, and I am planning on changing my number tomorrow. My friend went over to his house around noon today with her boyfriend and was able to retrieve most of my stuff without issue. She got all my personal documents. sentimental items, medication, and clothes. The only things she wasn't able to grab were the TV and Xbox I paid for because I am not sure how I can go about getting those back without him accusing me of stealing them. I am not sure that fight is even worth it right now. Before she left, she put my copy of his house key on the kitchen table so he knew I didn't have it. She wanted to unplug his fridge and all his appliances just to make things harder for him, but I told her not to. I really don't want to add fuel to this fire. His mom reached out to me to ask what was going on. Apparently, he called her and told her that I had some sort of mental breakdown and ran away and that he was worried about me. I told her what happened and what he did. She was pissed. She said she thought she raised him better than that and that she was sorry. He did what he did. She said that if I need anything, I can let her know and she'll do what she can do. Help me, I guess. His mom told his older sister what happened, and she also reached out to me to apologize for his behavior. I wasn't close to her, but I met her a few times, and she's a really nice person. She offered to help with anything I needed and told me that she was going to make sure everyone knows what actually happened. I told her it wasn't necessary, but I appreciate it. But she said she wasn't going to let her brother get away with this. I am not going to argue, so I thanked her for the most part. I've just been lying in bed today. I am so exhausted physically and emotionally. I wish I had left him sooner. There were red flags that I just ignored. I guess I was afraid of being alone. I don't know. I am trying not to blame myself for this whole situation, but I feel like I put myself in this position. This is what I get. I'm not expecting much else to happen. God, I hope nothing else happens. I will probably give one more update in a few days as long as things have cooled down. If something significant happens, you'll hear from me. Thank you all for your kind words and your advice. It's very much appreciated and definitely needed update. This is just going to be a short one because I don't have much energy right now. The last few weeks have been up and down. I did end up getting my TV and Xbox back. His sister stopped by his house when he was at work and took them, leaving a note explaining what she took and why my best friend met her somewhere like a Starbucks or something to get my stuff. As for how I am doing, not so good. I am staying with my mom currently, which has issues of its own. I lost my job because I wasn't reliably showing up and I couldn't focus, so I don't have a job and can't afford to eat. Not that I would be eating anyways, because my eating disorder is crawling its way back and I am not doing anything to stop it. I was diagnosed with bipolar about a year ago. I have never been medicated for it. And after the whole incident, I was in a depressive episode for a week or so, then a manic one. Now I am back to being depressed. Normally, I reach for weed when I feel down, but it's just not helping the way I need it to. I was taking DXM once or twice a week, but now I am out and don't have any money to get some more. Then I turned to DPH, which was actually great until I built a tolerance and didn't have any left. So now I am trying to cope however I can, mostly sleeping, but I am having a really hard time falling asleep because I have racing thoughts and insomnia. I'm making an appointment with my primary soon to talk about my sleep issues and trying to get me in with a competent psychiatrist. I am also looking for a new therapist because my old one moved out of state last week. The only problem is I call, no one answers. I leave a voicemail and no one calls me back. It's a cycle that repeats daily. I am really starting to lose hope for finding a therapist. I feel like I am just going to get worse and worse and either end up in the ground or 6 feet under. I haven't been in this bad of a place in years. I forgot how lonely and isolating it makes you feel. Third story AP allowed her husband's ex to stay in her house and now regrets it. After her husband divorced abandoned her, and moved in her with his ex hi everyone. So my husband M33 and I, F34, have been together for 12 years and married for 7. We also have a kid who is 2. My husband has been open about the fact that some of his previous relationships were poly. And we have always been open to general ethical non monogamy, for example. We used to go to SX parties together. And other examples, fast forward to about 6 months ago, when a friend of his came to the end of her marriage and quite urgently needed somewhere to stay. So we took her in. That was all well and good at first, and they were very close. But so were the 3 of us that were nights when we all slept in the same bed because she couldn't face sleeping on her own. There were also nights when my husband slept in the bed with her at my suggestion because, again, she couldn't handle sleeping alone, but I struggled to share a bed with three of us just because of space. However, the topic of poly did come up a bit further down the line as a genuine option. And so they started spending every Friday night together. And honestly, I was and am genuinely happy with this. This started as a nominally FWB thing, but naturally progressed into a relationship. I honestly don't think I have any issue with him seeing her. But the problem I am facing is that they want to live as a three forever, get a bigger house, and do this permanently. And I can't tell you why, but I am really uncomfortable about permanently sharing my space like this. On the other hand, my husband's mental health has always been really bad, but since my meta has lived here and there have been more of us around, it has been a lot better. So I really don't want to take this away from him. Really, really don't want to. So I have to find some way towards happiness for myself in this. Even though I work from home and they both work out of the house, I never feel like I am on my own anymore somehow because wherever I look, there are reminders that it's the three of us now. So I just feel permanently not at ease in my own home and I don't know how to get past that. Also, she really wants us to move house so that we can have somewhere bigger, but also so that it doesn't feel like our house that she's then living in, rather than something we share as equals. And I really don't want to transition to having potentially less time with my husband than I do now at the moment. He's in my bed 4 nights a week in her bed for 2 nights. And then we share the bed one night. All three of us, we bought a bigger bed so we could do this. It has to be said, I really like my meta a lot of the time. And one of my hopes is that if she and I work on our relationship and get closer, this will get easier for me. But at the moment, I am losing the home I thought I would grow old in, and I am worried I am losing half my husband. I don't know what I am looking for, but I am so worried right now. Relevant comments, aimless uncourse person. I can't tell you why, but I am really uncomfortable about permanently sharing my space like this. Not that you need a reason for not having someone else move into your home, but unless I am reading things wrong, it seems they kind of assumed it would happen, instead of asking how you'd feel about a roommate. This also doesn't seem like a good idea. Anyways, they've only been together for a short time. So not only would moving not be sound, but she just got out of a marriage. If you're worried about your husband needing to split time between you two, that is a reality of having multiple relationships. Is that something you feel you'd be okay with? Because this all just seemed to happen. I am wondering if you ever had the time to truly consider if this is right for you, Op. I'm under a lot of pressure to make this work for me. My husband has not ever been truly happy in a long while, and having both of us around has transformed his mental health. I've expressed my worry that just swapping around which of us is unhappy isn't progress, even acknowledging that I am not as unhappy as he was, but long term might I be, but there doesn't seem to be a middle ground. He can consider. I hoping some support from a poly-friendly therapist will help us to articulate our needs and find a workable middle ground. Aimless underscore sadcore person. Your husband's happiness shouldn't be so dependent on everyone cohabiting. TBH. Of course he's happy right now. Him lending a friend a helping hand out of their marriage ended up with him having a living girlfriend with his wife's permission. Not that he shouldn't rely on those close to him. I have mental issues myself, but it's not you or your meta's job to keep him well, especially when it's at the cost of your happiness. A good husband, partner, or person would understand that, depressed or not. Also, neither of you should be playing the oppression Olympics. Not the most apt term, but, don't think about who's less happy than the other. Your husband's mental health needs treatment. Not another partner in a complex and unplanned living situation. At the end of the day, it's the home. You share with your husband and your child, IO. This should always be a two yeses, one. No sort of situation. You have the right to choose who lives with you. When unfortunately, it really seems like you at an impasse here. Have you made it clear that you're not interested in this to your husband? I have really tried, but he's very clear that this is absolutely what he has needed for a long time. Not just being poly fine, but also us all living together. I think I've at least got across my very strong reservations. And we are now going to try putting everything we have into how we can genuinely make this work. Seeing a poly friendly therapist together as a three, as well as in our various pairs, including me and my meta, and doing the work to find a balance of together and separate bits of life that actually works for us. Wand, what about your needs? Though, Opie, I really want to learn to compromise. There are a lot of ways I've gotten my own way over the years, and it's fair that I at least give this my best shot, Tare. But why are you the only one compromising, Ob? I don't know. I really need to find ways to stand my ground. Everything gets turned around on me when we start talking about it, so I think I may genuinely need the therapist to help me communicate here. And to a deleted reply, she's been living here for 6 months already, since before they got together. Update cohabiting just got harder and harder, and I was getting less and less of my husband's love attention and even compassion friend. Then bought a house, and her husband was going to live there too. Then three, then even 5 nights a week. Nothing I said was right anymore. I was the villain, apparently uncompassionate, selfish, bad communicator, and not seeing it from my husband's or friend's point of view, increasingly excluded in my own life. And unsurprisingly, about 6 weeks ago, my husband ended our marriage ostensibly for other reasons about our relationship, but it may surprise you not at all to learn that he is now moving in with friend in the house she has bought, and that I am not now on speaking terms with her at all after some increasingly manipulative behavior from both of them, but especially her update 9 months later. So I posted here ages ago about my husband and his girlfriend, essentially putting a lot of pressure on me to be poly. It's not enough for you to want it. You have to actually want it rather than in any way acknowledging that I didn't want it. It was bloody awful. I couldn't do it. It's not who I am. And no matter how I tried to say that, they weren't having it. In the end, my husband broke up with me, ostensibly not because of me not wanting to be poly, but I mean, it absolutely was that his girlfriend is hugely manipulative and had swung him from being deeply in love with me to completely not and thinking I am a terrible person within the space of a year. I've got my faults to be sure, but I didn't deserve any of this. I've been doing a lot of work on myself to identify and understand what happened to me and the way they abused and manipulated me. Part of me is also concerned that the GF is also effectively doing the same to my ex, but that's his problem, not mine. I've recently met the GFS monogamous ex, and that's been eye opening. It feels like she's got a playbook. She's treated her ex badly and did S to me, and debatably to my ex. My ex has also been quite controlling over the years. I'm so much healthier out of this situation, and it's better for me. I am heartbroken for losing what I thought was a happy marriage and for being so disillusioned about what I thought we had. This has really pulled the wool from my eyes, and it's awful being away from my very small kids. Half the time, I am hyper vigilant about their welfare. Andy, am so worried for them, but they seem to be okay. In short, I have to accept that some of you are happy and healthy and good poly relationships. But if that's not your experience, if it's being used by your partner or their partner to have their cake and eat it, if you're not happy, listen to your gut, to your heart, to your friends, get out. The sooner you escape, the less. I hope you might get hurt. Relevant comments blowingly. I'm sorry you were treated that way. Out of curiosity, when folks told you on that post that this wasn't a good idea and that your situation didn't seem healthy and sustainable, did that help or hurt? Did you feel like all the happily po and people telling you that this had red flags prepared you for the end? Or I ask because I want this sub to be as helpful to folks like you as possible and wonder what we could be doing better? I think it helped. It started to validate for me that the way I was feeling was okay, but I wasn't wrong to feel like this wasn't working. What I couldn't do was address that in a way that my ex or his GF would ever be equipped to listen to. They couldn't and still can't see the impact of their actions or understand that they've done anything wrong. I think Reddit posts advising caution rather than straight up leave him nowy. The most helpful those that came alongside me and engaged with what I was experiencing and feeling, so that sounds really difficult. Andy, I'm wondering if you have realized that some of these are big red flags, such as responses that were nuanced, but nothing in the known universe is going to make someone like my ex or his GF listen when they don't want to, so nothing in the comments section could have changed anything. But it did really help to feel less like I was losing my mind and less like I was on my own. Thank you. It's Kicks time. Oh, I remember your post. I think everyone here could see the red flags with both of them, but I am so sorry. It had to end this way. It's not fun. Realizing you were disillusioned and you two were together for so long, I wish you only happiness and healing as you embark on this new chapter in your life. Op. Thank you, it's weird. Reading the comments now and seeing so much more clearly the lack of respect he and she were treating me with, it's awful. I am doing a lot of work and giving myself time to be on my own and do the learning to make sure I don't let anyone treat me like that again. Thank you for watching the video. If you are interested in listening to these kinds of stories, we've got more in store for you. Simply subscribe to our channel, hit the like button.